Learning a new language is hard. It takes time and patience and a will to learn. Every language learner will eventually hit that wall and find out that learning a language is frustrating. Today I'm going to be talking about things that cause these frustrations and how you can overcome your language learning frustrations. This isn't fun anymore. All I ever do is just look at boring grammar books all the time, and I read text, and I don't feel like I'm learning any new material. I've plateaued on my learning. What do you like to do? What do you normally do on a daily basis that you're like, man, this is fun, I love that thing? Do that, but with the foreign language. You like watching YouTube videos? Find someone who does YouTube videos in the language you want to learn. Need subtitles? Find a channel that has subtitles. It's really not that bad. Just search for the word subtitles or Untertitel after each of those things that you're searching for, and you'll find what you're looking for. You can even find it on the topic that you're looking for. Like playing online games? Google some games that you can play in your language that you want to learn. You can either play the game actually in that language, or you can play a game that you already know and love, but play with some people that are playing from Germany, and you can actually chat to them inside the comments section and have a little conversation in German that way. Like playing sports? Teach yourself the vocabulary you're going to need in order to play that sport. Talk about the sport in your head while you're playing that sport in the language you want to learn. Now, you obviously can't use this for everything that you think is boring about the foreign language. Sometimes it's just going to be boring. But this will help you get past that plateau and help you have fun while learning the language. And eventually, once you have fun learning the language, you'll get your brain to start thinking in German, thinking about that language all the time, and you will actually enjoy, no matter what the topic is, knowing that you've actually made some accomplishment in that foreign language. If all else fails, fake enthusiasm. I do it on a daily basis while teaching. That's part of the job. We all know some things about learning a foreign language are boring. The only way to get around this is to pretend you are having a good time. The weird thing is, the more you pretend you are having a good time, the more your brain will think that it's actually having a good time. Eventually, you will actually trick your subconscious into thinking you enjoy grammar. Think I'm crazy? Try it for a month. I know a month is a long time, but it takes about that long to trick your brain. It's kind of a smart thing. You can try and make it into a game or something. Try giving yourself points for everything that you translate, or try and give yourself some points for every sentence you write or thing that you're doing that's boring that you think is dull and monotonous. Give yourself some points for that. And if you get so many points, you can give yourself a cookie. Oh my goodness, I haven't even gotten to any of the vocabulary I actually need. If you're learning a bunch of useless vocabulary in a classroom setting, your teacher or your instructor is doing it wrong. If your teacher or textbook is filling you full of useless vocabulary, there's not really much you can do about it. You pretty much have to follow that order and you follow that vocabulary in order to pass the class. You can, however, try and avoid some of the frustration that comes from that by building vocabulary that you think you will actually need. Study vocabulary that you think you will need in conversation, stuff that you're actually going to be able to say, things that you'll need to be able to say. If you don't see the point in learning what's going on in class, learn something outside of class. Your teacher isn't the only source for information, nor is your teacher supposed to be. You're supposed to learn things outside of class. I've never seen a teacher get mad when a student goes out of their way to learn more about the topic outside of the classroom. The only problem is going to come up if you walk up to your teacher and tell them that they're doing their job wrong because Herr Antrim said so in a YouTube video. Sometimes it's not their fault. Studying vocabulary on your own is never discouraged by teachers. Just make sure that whatever information you're getting from the interwebs or dictionaries or other places is actually accurate information. And a weird thing about that is, if you go back to that same teacher, they'll help you out. Now, if you're not being forced into a certain set of vocabulary by a classroom or a textbook, and you're still learning useless vocabulary, you are doing it wrong. Why would you force yourself to learn useless vocabulary? That doesn't even make any sense. Just stop. Learn something else. Obviously, if you're not going to use the vocabulary, there's no point in you learning it, so why are you forcing yourself to learn it? If there's no one pushing this vocabulary on you, then you're the problem. Man, I am trying to learn this language on my own, but I don't even know where to begin. What do I learn first? What should I learn? What should I not learn? What's the vocabulary that I actually need? There's like 12 words for go. First of all, Google the language that you're looking for, followed by the word grammar. You'll be greeted with a bunch of different options for where you can learn grammar online for free. Usually the ones that are towards the top of the list are not only the most popular, but also the ones that have the best quality. Now, since this obviously isn't always true, you're going to have to kind of go through and find what fits you best. But you should eventually find a list of topics that you need to go through in order to learn the language properly. This will be extremely helpful when you're trying to find out what to learn next. This should be used as a general guideline of what grammar topic to learn and when. This is not supposed to be, this is what I have to do, and if you get to a point where you're like, oh, this doesn't make any sense to me, then you just give up. This is supposed to be a general guideline. You're learning on your own, which means you can go to this website today and find out that you should be learning these things, but if you don't understand it from the first website, you can search for that same topic and you'll end up with a bunch of other websites explaining the same topic. If you do this enough, you'll eventually find that you like this site for this type of thing and this site for that type of thing, and you'll end up using a bunch of different options to try and get your grammar back in check. Ask yourself, what do you want to do with this language? What vocabulary are you going to need? What vocabulary do we expect to be using while speaking this language? Are you going to a country that speaks this language? Think about these questions and compile a list of vocabulary that you would use in your native language, and then use that to make up a vocab list for the foreign language. There's actually a great book that's called Mastering German Vocabulary, a thematic approach, and that book actually takes all of the vocabulary that you will probably need and separates it out so that it's by topic. So you can find all of the vocab on food, and then you can find all of the vocabulary on drinks, and they're actually right next to the things about waiters and waitresses and how to order food. You can find stuff in there about traffic. If you're going to be driving in a foreign country, you need to know those things. It's like building your own vocabulary list without actually having to build your own vocabulary list. And the book's not even that expensive. I've got a link down in the description for where you can find that book on Amazon, but if you really want to find it somewhere else, you could probably just Google it and it'll come up with whatever online bookstore you want. So my question for you is, what is the frustrating thing about learning a language for you? What are you tripping up on right now in the foreign language? I'll take some of the frustrations that you guys have in the comments down below, and I'll turn it into another video so that I can help you out and get you over those frustrations. Danke fürs Zuschauen, bis zum nächsten Mal. Tschüss.